And I know y'all have some of the same questions I do. Is this coffee that was in 2022 for my emergency kit still good after it's expired for 3+ years? Cafe Bustelo, never very good by itself. We're gonna see what it tastes like. Oh, 2021, about 4 years out of date. And these different kind of K-cups that I've picked up traveling, these are out of date too, but I am going to put them in my espresso maker and see if we can get a shot out of these. Plus, I wanted to run you through the latest prices for the Mennonite hogs, if you're going to get one butchered, and also Hanson Mueller, one of the largest grain silo facilities, going Chapter 11, so our farmers aren't going to get paid. And in the intro, I showed you a full one that was unopened, and then we had one that somehow was opened, and I don't know how that got opened, but it is. So I'm gonna try this one first. And you know, prepping things out, if you're not rotating it all the time, you're gonna get stuck with, just like I did. I have an enormous amount of coffee, but it's still good. So I'm gonna try this. You know, I'm even gonna go 2 scoops just because, well, I like my coffee stronger. See how it goes. Ooh, nice snap-on lid. Wow. So this is Taster's Choice House Blend. 100% pure, smooth, and balanced. Doesn't tell you what type it is, Arabica or Robusta. Not really sure, but I'm gonna throw some hot water on it. And we'll give it a taste here. And I'll give you my honest opinion on what it tastes like. And while I'm stirring that, ooh, it's kind of mucky. It didn't really get into the water very good. That's interesting. It's turned into like a tar sludge on the side of the cup. You can see that right there. It didn't really mix well. That's why I'm using the clear cup, so you can see in there. Interesting. Does look like mud though, doesn't it? It's that thick. But it just doesn't seem to want to mix anymore. Usually when you throw instant coffee in, it breaks apart and like almost instantly goes in. So I'm still here stirring and I can't get that off the side of the cup. But just for you, I'm gonna taste this even because, well, that's the whole plan for the video. All right, if I don't see you tomorrow, that's because of this. Man, that is really bitter. Like bitter to the point of, I wouldn't say black walnut bitter, but wow, that is very, very bitter. Speaking of being bitter, while I have a couple more sips, I mean, I don't even know if I can finish this. Is that bad. So, that's really not tasty at all. The flavor just seems to be, and this is the unopened one. So maybe it even is a little bit different with the unopened one. So maybe I'll switch cups and try the unopened one. Or just leave it. Yeah, because you know, with your storage thing, it needs to be rotated out. We're at the end of this I mean, that's already not, at least in my opinion, good. So I'm gonna just cut off the back here and use my spoon handle, and let's go at it again while I get into the story here. This comes off AgWeb, one of my favorites. Multi-state grain merchandiser files for bankruptcy, what farmers should know. Now this is Omaha, Nebraska, and this is the 3rd largest grain storage facility in America. Now the 2nd largest also had filed for bankruptcy, Chapter 11, not too long ago, and it made through the ag headlines. And thank you for the clean cup. We're gonna go for number 2 here. I'm gonna try the unopened one. The Fed's out of options, rate cuts, money printing, balance sheet reversals. They call it policy, but it's really panic. This is the end game economics, where hope replaces discipline and the illusion of control finally breaks. They're not cutting rates because things are strong. They're cutting rates because the system is cracking. The labor market's stalling. Confidence in the dollar is fading fast. For decades, the Fed built a house of paper. Now they're striking the match that could burn it down, leaving you to pay the price. Every cycle ends the same. Bubbles, bailouts, and broken retirements. That's why smart investors are moving to what's real. Gold and silver. When's the last time you actually held the wealth you've spent your life working for? My friends at Noble Gold Investments have been helping Americans move from paper wealth into real, tangible assets. Numbers on a screen can disappear, but physical gold and silver, that's lasted through every single crisis in history. Go to 2030gold.com and get your free wealth protection kit today. That's 2030gold.com. Click on that link in the description box below and discover how easy it is to protect your future. And for this holiday season, when you open a qualified account with Noble Gold Investments, you'll receive 10 1-ounce commemorative silver holiday coins, limited edition, and a joyful way to celebrate the season and invest in something real. But Hanson Mueller, now you can see here, I'll flash up a quick screen for you, the size of the grain silos. So what happens is the farmers will purchase everything, grow out their crops for the year. You know, they got all those inputs in there. They got the diesel fuel, they got all the fertilizers, and then they have all the pesticides, herbicides, and if it really gets nasty, the fungicides to try to knock down any mold or blight on the crops. They put all that in, plus they got the farm hands, they got the machine costs, the tractors, they got, $1 million, $500,000 piece of machinery. Generally, you're not paying cash unless you get a USDA finance loan. But again, that whole swirl, there's a lot of expenses involved in farming. So what they do is they grow everything, they deposit it in these grain facilities, and then at the end, they cut them a check for however much is coming in. Now, this particular set of silos here is operating on those who have 500 to 10,000 acres. So they give you a range of the farmer size here. 20 of the largest creditors, this is through Louisiana, Mississippi, Kansas, Arkansas, Nebraska. 20 farm or conglomerates here, they owe them at least $500 million for 20 of the largest farms in America. $500 million, which they won't see any of that money, at least not for now. Problem is, I don't hear anybody in our government talking about getting these farmers financed or make sure that they have what they need to get through the rest of the year and make sure that all of their downstream people are paid off as well. So what about the wholesale fuel distributor that's owed, say, $100,000 for filling up diesel in those tractors? They're not going to get paid either. So you start to see how this thing just trickles down all the way. And it is about, totally, if you're looking from smallholders all the way up to the 20 largest, 600 million, and there are a little over 500 of our largest farms in these same areas here. Now the company's full statement, the second one that's occurred, so for me it seems more like a purposeful shutdown. I'm going to try to read this on the fly. As you can see, I haven't been able to even preview this. I'm just working on the coffee here with you. So they are going to sell their assets, and then they are going to recover for some of their holders that they owe money to. So how does one of the largest grain facilities in America go bankrupt? 2 of the top 3 have gone bankrupt this year alone. So how is this even possible? I thought they had government subsidy, government help to make sure this is a national security issue here. Do you not think our food supply in America is not national security? I think it is. So far, this specific one operated different grains, oats, soy, and corn. Now their companies were headed in Omaha, Nebraska, and Michael Compton is the Chief Restructuring Officer, and this is their public announcement that came out. And basically what they're saying is, if we owe you money, too bad. So what are they supposed to tell their suppliers? That, you see, these relationships built in the farm communities, generations long. People go on a word of mouth trust. You've always paid your bills. People will, give you the benefit of the doubt. And it's been like that for a very long time. A lot of these farms are 3rd generation, 4th generation farms. And all the way back in 1910, 1920, some of these operations that have 100,000 acres or 10,000 acre farms, you just don't get that today. It's very difficult to acquire 10,000 acres. I know BlackRock, Blackstone, Citadel, they could buy that up. But in general, like you and I, to put or even get 5,000 acres, that is a very large piece of land, very expensive. Even at $200 an acre at 5,000 acres, Still, I'm just saying what the price would be. But now, land's going for 10,000 an acre and you're talking 5,000 acres. And is it pristine farmland? Is it tillable land? Is it arable? Then you're looking, some places up in Ohio, some of the prime land's going for 30,000, 40,000 an acre, and you're getting 5,000 acres of that. It just doesn't exist anymore. That's the whole thing, is like they have over time acquired their neighbor's land, their neighbor's land, their neighbor's land. And now they're not going to be able to, now most of the farms are paid for. It's just the machinery that costs inputs. Because if you have a third generation farm, you got all that stuff for like really $100 an acre back in the day, and you bought out your farmers friends since. All right, so this is number 2 here. Stirred this one up, we'll see how it tastes. Much better that it's not open. I'm telling you what, this one is like easily twice as drinkable as the other one that's been open for 3+ years and has sat there. This one has really gone incredibly expired because it was open and exposed to the air for quite some time. But this one, I'm not gonna, this is drinkable still. I should have, well, I could have saved this, but it's good to know what it is, because I personally don't like freeze-dried, but a lot of people go to it as, gotta have it in your storage kit. What else is going on here? Oh, America's largest meat supplier to close vast beef processing plant while industry reckons with Trump policies and threats. Tyson, America's largest meat supplier, plans to shutter one of its largest beef processing plants as the industry continues with low cattle supplies, lowest since 1950, and political pressure from Washington. You mean not selling our farms and meat processing to foreign owned entities? Is that what they're talking about here? Because I know China was buying half hogs. They would raise them in America. They would raise half hog, they get the hogs, get them in half, freeze them, put them in containers, ship them back to China. And it was cheaper for them to do that than it was to process it anywhere else. They don't have the land or the facilities in China to do hogs at such scale as we do here. Really unlimited land in America. China's limited on their land, limited on the waste that comes out of that facility. And here, yeah, that was the whole churn and burn. They would leave some for the American people, but a lion's share of it, that hog production just got halved up, deep frozen, containerized, because they would really fit together the carcasses if they're in halves, packed into and they would ship them off, like sometimes thousands of containers of just hog carcasses squeezed so you can't get another inch inside there. Take it home, boom. All right, well, let me see what the next one is gonna be. These are K-cups, not my favorite. I prefer the little shot ones that you get with some of the Nespresso machines. These are K-cups. Now, get some of these when we're traveling through some of the Airbnbs along the way. And these, whatever they were, this one's a Kroger brand. Got that in Nashville, I think, was one of the places we stayed in. And then this one's a donut shop double blend, if you might see that one. So I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna open it up and see if I can't squeeze something in here, and what does this taste like? So I can't open this up again. There we go. You can always use the back of something. You can use a pen. You can use anything to open this up here. And I'll show you what the inside of the cup looks like. Oh, that's interesting. All right, so I'm going to see if I can do an espresso shot with this one itself. Kind of spilled out everywhere. See if I can get this thing to go over here. And I'll just do the little press-a-root and oh, ready for a shot. Thank you. And notice this cup on the inside also has this paper, something like this inside. So I guess you're getting bleached paper and plastic at the same time. Awesome. Had to pause the video. The espresso machine in the background making noise. Smells good. Comes up kind of frothy like that out of the machine. Just throwing it out there. It tastes super flat. Give it a try, see what you think. Super flat. I can't describe it to you, just flat and cardboardy taste. You can actually taste sort of the paper in there, and it tastes really flat. All right, well, I would skip those. If you get K-cups and they're out of date, I would just throw those away. I don't think those are gonna be any good. But anyway, the yeah, I'm still taste it behind. I need to wash that down with some water, I think. That was not pleasant either. So you can see where your coffee range sits already. And my last one is going to be the Cafe Bustelo. So while we're waiting for the Cafe Bustelo, again, it's all about the food supply, and we keep coming back to this. What are the things that we've heard over the last multiple years that we're going to be limited anyway? We were told you're going to have to eat less beef, consume less beef, protein sources, and air travel. And travel itself was going to be more restricted. We heard that a lot. And then suddenly, well, the amount of beef and pork that you can buy is suddenly decreasing, which means the price is going to go up. I saw a couple newscasts trying to dissect this a little bit differently, and they were saying that you're going to look for at least 25 to 35% increase just from this one plant closure alone here. And that is the beef going and also some of our pork getting more expensive. Beef's going to get at least 25% more expensive. And then our grains with this Chapter 11, if you wanted to bankrupt farmers, and then what happens when you bankrupt farmers? Oh, they produce less food. When they produce less food, what happens? Well, things get more expensive and limited in choice. Hey, I heard that was going to happen. Didn't you hear that from the 2030 goals? I know you did. I did too. Hang on to my pork purchase from the Mennonites this year, but we're going to go ahead and, let me see, this is the Cafe Bustelo. It says, Cafe Espresso Molindo. So it looks very Italian. You're like, wow, it's Italian espresso, must be yummy. Let's see how yummy it is, because I've had this one before in a few places, and I'm going to say it's really bitter. Nothing smooth on that. Bitter. Although if you jammed a bunch of milk and sugar in it or molasses or something like that, you could cover the taste and have that as a drinkable. This first one here, I don't care what you put in there, you can't cover. That's nasty. The K-Cups also, they had that really cardboardy, like plasticky taste. You couldn't cover that either. So far, this is the best out of the bad choices that we've had. I should say expired choices, not bad. Because again, am I a fan of this one? No. Would I buy it again? No. But at the time when I was just buying coffee that was already vacuum packed, ground into a brick, I was like, oh, this Cafe Bustelo, I haven't seen this one. Oh, it's espresso, it's Italian. Oh, it couldn't be that bad, could it? So we got some receipts here from our buy. So I went up to the Mennonite this year and I got a hog. Our hog was, so a 328-pound hog. And then the processing fee on that was $162 to process it out. And I think the price this year, again, let me check my notes, $1.50 per pound live weight. So then on the carcass hanging weight, it came out to a charge of 60 cents per pound for carcass weight. After, they removed the organs out of that, took the head off, feet, whatever. So it's hanging there, and then what does that weigh? So the live weight price this year hadn't gone up from last year, so it was still at $1.50 per pound. 328-pound hog cost $492. In total for processing, for them to take it in there, hang it, weight on that, $212 total. So all of that to get our hog butchered, 328-pound hog, $704, and that's with all the cuts. Now, we did decide to go and smoke the hams, the ham hocks, and then the front belly for the bacon. That this year is curing and smoking costs at $1.40 a pound. Now, we're unsure exactly until December what that cost is going to be, but they think it's going to be around 120 to 140, which means about 100 pounds of that hog is going to be smoked. But when I say smoked, they got their chimneys all like really, and they put your name on the label. It's all handwritten, like little nice white paper label that turns smoke color and everything. Very gourmet ham, but it's just what they do. That's all they do. For us, it's considered gourmet, but in the real world, before everything was gourmet, that's just the way it was. So those are prices for this year, and you can kind of compare that. If you can find your Mennonite farm, you can ask them about a whole or a half on the hogs or on the beef as well, the cows. Generally, though, the lambs are, they're not that heavy. They're only 120, 110 pounds, so hard to get a half lamb. But if you walk into a Mennonite farm and you ask them, hey, I'm interested in half a hog or half a beef, they can give you some prices. And again, that would be about half of that. So even if we spend another $125 for that'd be $850. Yeah, about 200 and some pound of meat for sure on that. We'll see, I can give you a final total later. Speaking of meats, Aldi, let's look at their meats prices here. This is in East Tennessee. They got a Jenny D whole turkey, frozen, 77 cents per pound. That's the special they're running right now. I don't know if that is, with the thick cut pork chops, $3.29 a pound. Well, that's actually more expensive than us getting a whole hog here. And we're getting like organic, non-GMO, premium pork cuts just because I know how the guys raise it over here anyway. And that's still, even though that's on sale at Aldi as like a super special lowest price, that costs more than getting a hog done on your own here. You see the price scale on that? And if you can find somebody to split it, then you're really only looking at like 400, 450 bucks. So think about that in cost and range. And then you get all those cuts. You get the pork chops, you get the loins, you get, different kind of roasts and things that you want to get in there. If you want to save the skin, you can do the chicharron. You can cook it in, get that fat off of there and whatnot. Oh, also under that Aldi thing, I did find the price for the lambs for this year, $2.75 per pound live weight. Discount for larger lambs. Obviously, they have more fat. You're going to get more wastage on that. So they're looking somewhere around easily $130 on the lamb if you're going to go larger lambs. Because most time, just FYI, best that we try to range in is 110 to 115 pounds. You get the marbling, you get the fat, but it's not. We got one that was like about 90 pounds. It was nothing on it. It was no fat, no marbling. It was just like tough because it hadn't matured yet. So that extra 20 pounds in between when they're lambs and get a little bit bigger coming up, that's a huge, huge difference. Goats this year went up a little bit, $3 a pound live weight. Again, your goat weight on that, you'd have to talk with the farmer directly. If you're gonna give them your lamb or your goat and they're gonna do a flat rate processing for packaging, butchering out, do everything, $100. So again, I didn't get a lamb this year. We usually get one every year. I just butcher it myself because they're pretty easy. They're small animals. 275, so let's say it's 100 pounds on animal, 275, plus you get 100, that's 375. You're gonna lose some of that, so they said you're gonna come out like 80 pound, about 375, $375, and you'll get a good 80 pounds. But lambs, they cost more, as always. And for example, when you get it from Mennonite, this is the way you'll get it packed here. Not for sale again, but they're packed for you specifically. So this is pork chops right here, and you get 4 chops in one of these. And they just come in a paper. Old school, not vacuum packed. There are a few butchers I worked with that vacuum pack a lot of things. So, hope you enjoyed this style of video. Trying to run through some coffees with you, a little bit of news, and then also some live pricing. Leave your comments in the description box below if you like this type of content. Please consider buy me a coffee, but not this kind of coffee. That link's in the description box below. Also, bni.life/civilization. Prodovite Plus. Please support our sponsors. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.